Hey, today I went ahead and got the Gunvolt Striker Pack. They actually do have quite a bit of store credit that I'm going to get tomorrow after I run some errands, so I might get Bayonetta. I might just get some digital stuff. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really want to pay $60 for Bayonetta again because I've bought that game 3 times now, and luckily only one of them was full price, and the PC version was like 20 bucks. So it's not like I've spent a ridiculous amount of money on the game, but I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it. If you guys would like me to do a port review on it, then I can. If I don't get it now, then I'll get it in about 2 weeks when my friend is going to get it for me. So if you know of any other suggestions that I should get, you can go ahead and let me know. These are the only 2 games that I own right now. The rest of this stuff is all just random demos. These games are pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to take a break from Muso today, and I'm going to do a port review for the Gunvolt Striker Pack. Now, you might remember I played this on PC, and I didn't like it that much. I can tell you that the 60 FPS in this remaster, it definitely makes a difference. However, there's one thing that's really awful about this game. In the first Gunvolt, you can't remap the skill button. You have to use the R3 button, which makes no sense. At least on the controller that I'm using, I can't like physically move my thumb over there in time, especially like while I'm jumping. So we're gonna go into Gunvolt 1 first. You can change the rest of the controls, but for some reason on the Gunvolt 1 remaster, you can't change where the skill button is mapped. I think they have the modes from the PC version too. I'm not entirely sure. I've only spent like maybe 30-40 minutes with this. I just got it today. I've been pretty busy today, so. So if I go into the controls, it has like everything. You can map like everything but the skill button. I don't know why it's like that. There's a whole button that's not even being used here. I know that they put out a patch, but I was not able to find anything that could allow me to remap where the skill is on. So obviously these are 3DS games, which means that normally the skill cooldown and stuff, the skill bar was on the lower screen, and you use the touchscreen to just cast stuff. And when they ported it to PC, first they had like a little border that you could use, and then I think later on they patched in something similar to what they're using now. But you didn't have to click R3 to do it, if I remember correctly. So I don't know why the hell it's designed like that. Otherwise, this is a really rock-solid port. I got stuck on the boss of the intro level because I couldn't jump and cast the Astrosphere at the same time. It was too hard for me to do. Also, the game kind of cramps a little bit on like the Joy-Cons when you're playing like in handheld mode, so you might want to just get a controller. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner here, I have an up, down, left, right little thing here. When you get more skills, you can change which one you use, but like I said, the only way you can cast it is by R3. So it's really awkward. I don't know why it's designed like that. So I'll play through this level, you can see just how awkward it gets. I really like the movement of this game, I just don't care for the combat. I think the combat is boring and awkward. I really hope when they make the inevitable Gunvolt 3, since these games actually sell pretty well, at least by their standards, that they'll just add a melee character. It's probably the only character I'd use. I think the movement in this game is great. It's just as good as the Zero games, but the combat is just pales in comparison. It doesn't feel satisfying. You can see how much more fluid and responsive it is from 60 FPS. That's definitely the main reason to buy this, if you've played these games before. The PC version never got 60 FPS, and I think that's just because it's too hard for them to code the way that the flash field mechanic works without just making it straight up double damage. That's been a problem on a lot of other games as well. I remember the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse had that problem where people who were playing at like 144 megahertz were like, not megahertz but hertz, where I keep having like quadruple the healing speed. See, like right here, I can't cast it because I have to use R3. It's really awful. I don't know why it's designed like this. It makes the game unplayable. I can't even properly cast it because I have to jump and then make sure I don't touch the analog stick in the heat of battle. I'll have to see if there's a way to change it, but so far I haven't been able to find anything. It seems like you just can't remap it for some reason. They really need to patch it. There's a whole unused button on the face buttons, and for some reason you can't just put it there. So unless I find a way or they patch it in, I'm probably not gonna bother playing this version or this part of the pack. You can see how much I was struggling just to cast the Azure Spear. I couldn't do it. Even if you're not trying to do like a jump Azure Spear, it's really difficult because while you're in the heat of battle, if you touch the analog stick, then it's going to go into another slot. So I don't know why it's designed the way it is. Maybe I'll contact them on Twitter. Maybe they can do like a final patch for this or something and just make it so that you can remap it. Because I did want to finish this game. It's not like it's particularly challenging or anything. I just hated the 30 FPS and I didn't really like the combat. But the 60 FPS definitely does make it more enjoyable overall. So let me go ahead and save here, and then I'm going to go show Gunvolt 2. Oddly enough, the menus are still 30 FPS for some reason. It must have some real spaghetti code or something that just prevents them from making everything. I don't think you can actually go to one game from another. I think you have to like back all the way out. Now the Switch has a pretty good, you know, OS and everything, so it's kind of just a minor nuisance. Pretty much back in the game already, no big deal. So what they did in this version for Gunvolt 2, they made it so the X button will cast the skills. So it's like actually possible to use them while jumping instead of having to do like a finger exercise. Really odd decision. Right now, this game's on sale, I think on GameStop and Amazon for under $30, so that's a pretty good price for these games. I think the 40 bucks for this is like, kind of pushing it, but 30 is pretty good. It's a shame the movement in this is just as good as the classic Inti Creates, you know, the Zero and ZX series. But the combat is just pales in comparison. It doesn't feel as satisfying. I really hope that they'll be able to add a melee character in the future, in the next game. So you can see how much easier I was able to cast his Shred Storm because it's actually mapped to a button that makes sense. I will look in the manual and see if there's a way to change it, but it seems like they only implemented that change for Gunvolt 2. I think Copen's a lot of fun to play. I like the way that he moves around. If you want a more traditional style, you can play as Gunvolt, but the problem with Gunvolt is you have to constantly stop to attack, which just kills your momentum, which is my biggest problem with this game. But with Copen, it's kind of cool how you can chain together fighting the enemies, kind of like how you did with Zero in the Zero series. Now, you do lose a little bit of your momentum, but the enemies are often arranged in a way that you can kind of chain them together and move through the level quicker than you could normally. So if you go into the controls, they let you remap everything. Here's the skill shortcut, and then you still have a spare button as well. Right now I have it mapped actually kind of the opposite of how I play like the X games and the Zero games. Like I usually put dash on L1. On the Super Nintendo games I normally put dash on L. But here I put it on ZL, or the equivalent of L2. Mostly because when you're playing on the Switch, the game kind of cramps your hands to begin with, and having it on L1 or L, I'm still getting used to the new way that they call the buttons. That button is pretty small, it doesn't really feel that satisfying to hit, so I actually changed it around. But you can change it around as much as you want. They also have double tap dashing as well. So we'll go out, I'll go ahead and I'll check the manual to make sure I'm not just a complete moron here. I want to make sure before I slander the game too much. Like I said, I imagine the reason why the PC version does not have 60 FPS is because they didn't want to completely change the way the flash field mechanic works. It's probably took quite a bit of code to make it so that when they doubled the frame rate, the flash field didn't just do double damage. Yeah, see right here, it tells you the X button taggles the story mode, which is stupid. All that does, I think it just turns off the text boxes. I don't see why that matters. You should be able to just turn off the text boxes just in an options menu. I think that button should be used for casting the skills. I'm not sure how to move to the next page. Yeah, see, for Copen it's different. Go ahead and I'll try this one more time, and then we can pretty much confirm that they made a pretty big oversight. I might be able to turn it off if I turn off the Story Mode Plus. I looked online before I made this video to make sure I wasn't just spouting incorrect information. I couldn't find anything. Yeah, you can't change it like you would in another game where you could just change the function of the button. Really odd decision, so unless you're really good at clicking the right analog stick in the heat of battle, then Gunvolt 1 is going to be kind of difficult to play, but in Gunvolt 2 they actually did changes so that you can just put it however you want. Anyway, that's it. That's my little port review for Gunvolt Striker Pack. I'm not particularly good at this game. I am very awful at the boss fights especially, so this is more just for my personal use. Once I grind out the gear, which you know, I do have a trip in about 3 months, so I'll have a lot of time on the train to play Switch games and stuff. I might do some fun casual speed runs. The speed runs for this game, they pretty much just ignore all of that stuff. Like, they just play through the game from the start. I don't think they craft a single item, so it'd just be fun, like individual levels. I'll probably do later on in the future, but for now this is probably just going to be an off-camera game. So if you want to see some footage of this, you want to see just Scrubby play, then maybe I'll grind out some gear when I go do the laundry today, and I'll try to get that out as soon as I can. I am still waiting for a patch for Dicey Warriors 9 so that it doesn't just completely eat all the resources of my computer. When or if that happens, I'll definitely be playing that game more, but for now I'm probably going to play some Fire Emblem Muso, so if you guys want to see some of that, that will definitely fill your need for more Muso content from me. Anyway, I hope this helps. Like I said, this game is on sale on Amazon and at GameStop right now, so if you have 30 bucks or you want to trade in some stuff, I definitely recommend it. The only real blemish on this port is just not being able to use the button to cast skills, which I don't know why they didn't catch that, because they had to obviously put in a lot of work just to get it to run at 60 FPS, because it obviously was not something that they could do easily, otherwise they would have done it on the other versions. But Gunvolt 2 works fine, so if you've already played Gunvolt 1 on PC, then it's still a pretty good deal. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.